don't know if you can hear that on my chest. So I have been sick for every month for 5 months. I've had COVID 4 times, plus some other stuff going on. It's been that bad that my friends even asked if I'm on some kind of government bloody trial. Anyway, I'm starting to feel a bit better, hence I'm doing this video, and I've worked out 2 things. 1, I need to get back into the running and doing the videos. And 2, I need to share my 4-step test for making sure that you are never ever overtrained or undertrained again. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. Yeah, so in this video, I want to just share my little test. It's something that I do every morning. I developed it over a few years, and basically it's a way of checking in with yourself so that you intuitively know whether you should really push on and work hard today, or whether you should pull back and perhaps do more working in than you are working out. Now, we all want to do the working out. We want to do the stuff where our lungs are busting, our legs are burning, and we feel like we're making progress. We get instant feedback from that. It feels like we're making progress, but it's not always the right thing to do. And I'm sure at times in the past, you have worked too hard, too soon, whether you're carrying an injury, you're a little bit ill, there's too much going on in your life, and you piled on the pressure to yourself, and it's left you feeling either injured, demoralized, or like you've not fulfilled your potential. So with this test, and it only takes about 5 minutes every morning, you can make sure that you can avoid all that. So what is it? So I call it the MESH test. MESH is an acronym, and basically the way it works is you run through the 4 steps, the 4 letters of the MESH test, and you score it between 1 and 5. 5 being outstanding, amazing, 1 being absolutely dog shit rubbish. And what you end up with is a score, and that score between 1 and 20 kind of tells you where you should pitch your training that day. If you're like 15 and above, go and smash it. You know, that's when you need to do your intense hill sprint runs and all that kind of stuff. And if you're like 5 and below, that means you kind of need to ease off a little bit. You know, you need to be resting, perhaps have a duvet day. Get yourself a big slab of dairy milk and a duvet, cup of cocoa or lemsip or whatever, just sit in front of the TV and perhaps chill. Or maybe you want to do a bit of yoga, you want to do a bit of Pilates, go for a gentle stroll, soak in the bath, whatever, but just something else which is either going to help you recover, that's going to be beneficial to you, is not necessarily slogging it out on the trail. So what are the 4 letters then? Well, the M, first of all, stands for motivation. Motivation is one of those things that it comes and goes. A lot of my private clients will say to me, you know, Craig, if you can just give me a little bit of motivation, if you can help me just develop a little bit of motivation, everything else will be fine. And the problem with that is that, you know, we can't. I can't just go to the store cupboard and get you a big, massive slab of motivation and say, here, I'll take that for the rest of the week. It really does come and go. And therefore, you know, you shouldn't really be thinking, I'm going to smash my training today when your motivation levels are really low. So first thing in the morning, before you get out of bed, just have a little think. M, motivation, where is it? Between 1 and 5. You know, don't have to overthink it. Just write it down. You can write it down if you want. I used to track it every day for months. Okay, now I just kind of do it in my head, and that's enough for me. So if you're feeling really motivated, perhaps a 4 or a 5, amazing. If you haven't got much motivation, perhaps you're a 1 or a 2. Or if you're just middle of the road, then give yourself a 3. The E then stands for energy. You know, how much energy do you feel like you've got that day? I've had days when on my training program it said, you know, go and do 6x400 meter sprints around a track, and I'm like, I just don't feel like I've got the energy for that. But I have got the energy for perhaps like a 6 mile steady state trot, jog or whatever. Okay, so you know, what is your energy level at between 1 and 5? Score it, okay, move on to the next one. The S is stress. Okay, now we've all got different levels of stress for different reasons because of, well, that's just the way life is. Maybe it's family, maybe it's young kids, maybe it's work, you know, maybe it's inflation, fuel prices, whatever it is, you know, we all exposed to stress at different times. And if you're suffering with a lot of stress right now, then maybe that's an indication of where you should be focusing rather than, you know, putting all your energy into running. You know, maybe it's something that you need to sort out, and that will free up some mental capacity and energy and relieve some stress so that you can get back into your running. All right, so instead of piling on the pressure and a real stressful situation in your life, maybe sort out some other things first. And then the H is health. What is your general health? For me right now, I've got sniffles, bit of a sore throat, still very chesty from COVID. Okay, so it's not a good idea for me to be running, but I can do gentle walks with the dogs, you know, I can do some gardening around the garden, you know, so I'm starting to get active, but not pushing it too much. And if you score 4 to 5 with your general health, like you've got no problems, no injuries, no nothing, then that's the time to go for it. So once you've scored yourself across those 4 things, total it up, and that will give you a total mesh score for that day, and allow that to dictate whether you train hard, work out, or you work in and do something a little less intense. Now, I hope you've enjoyed that little tip. I've got plenty more of these to come, and I've also got some incredible events coming up for the rest of the year. Pretty crazy, even for me, you know, they're a bit stupid, especially considering I've been ill for the last 5 months. I did plan on being so much further down my training regime, training program. I'm just nowhere near. But if nothing else, it'll be a couple of interesting videos. So until the next one, take care. Yeah.